High-end prison breaks often employ unexpected methods. The prison guard brought the prisoner her meal. The woman looked at the spoon, and immediately thought of a way to escape. After the guard left, the woman used the spoon to dig into the wall. Although it was difficult, the wall could still be dug through. To avoid detection by the guards, she tore pages from a book, then covered the soil from the wall with the paper. This made the paper blend in with the wall, and she used it to cover the hole, keeping it hidden. Since the prison was surrounded by water on all sides, and frequently hit by strong winds, the woman scattered the soil she had dug from the wall through the window, letting it drift away with the wind. The woman knew that this escape plan was a long-term endeavor. To gain more time for digging, she requested to skip the yard time activities, under the pretext of reading in her cell. To accelerate the digging process, she collected the soup from her meals, and spread it evenly over the hole. The salt in the soup corrodes the wall, making the soil easier to dig out. Using this method, the woman dug a 60-meter-long tunnel in half a year. Everything was ready. On this day, the prosecutor came to inspect the prison. The woman saw her chance. She knew that to welcome the superior officer for guidance. The prison was holding a performance. She quickly left the cell while the crowd was distracted. Since she hadn't been out in half a year, the inmates on the playground did not recognize her, and no one noticed her movements. At that moment, everyone was watching the female prisoner's performance, while the woman slowly approached the official's car. She quickly hid under the car. At that moment, the prison guard arrived to deliver her meal, and knocked on the cell door but received no response. The prison guard sensed something was wrong, and immediately entered the cell to check. The woman was nowhere to be found. He immediately sounded the alarm. Chaos erupted in the prison. To ensure the warden's safety, the guards immediately escorted him to the car and evacuated him. However, the woman was already hanging from the bottom of the car. The warden returned to the cell and berated the guards, saying they couldn't even keep an eye on one woman. He angrily picked up a book from the bed and threw it at the wall, unwittingly breaking the paper covering the hole. The warden pulled back the paper covering the hole, and discovered that it was a tunnel. He concluded that the woman had escaped through the tunnel, and immediately called the detective to investigate. The detective crawled into the tunnel with a flashlight. Since the tunnel was quite steep, the detective slipped, and slid all the way to the end of the tunnel. The detective discovered that the tunnel was a dead end, and asked the guards to pull him back with a rope. The detective found a worn spoon in the cell, and concluded that it was the woman's tool for digging the tunnel. The prison guard was skeptical, as it was impossible to dig so quickly with a spoon. The detective flicked some soil into the prison guard's mouth, and it was salty. The detective explained that the woman had used the salt from the vegetable juice to corrode the wall, accelerating the digging process, and the soil she dug out was blown away by the wind. The detective realized the woman's intention. He had escaped from prison using the warden's car. The woman's purpose in digging the tunnel was to distract the guards. By the time they crawled inside to confirm the tunnel was a dead end, 25 minutes had passed. And those 25 minutes were enough for the woman to escape the prison using the car.